How's it going, everybody? This is King B with another video. So check this out. What's missing, one of the major problems in this life, as well as relationships, and I'm going to focus a bit on relationships, is balance. A lack of balance, because one of the major issues is this when it comes to balance. You may have a woman who have a man in her life and he's more feminine than she is. You know what I'm saying? He's more feminine than the woman. There's no balance in that. You got a woman and she's in a relationship with a man and he's more feminine than she is. Where's the balance in that? There's no balance. You got two feminine energies trying to coexist. That's not going to work. And vice versa. You got a man involved with a woman and she's more masculine than he is. She's trying to be both the woman and the man. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to have a conversation and she's constantly cutting you off and you can barely get a word in, and you know what I'm saying? She wants to make all the decisions and, don't want to take your opinion into consideration. And what wound up happening in situations like that is one person, if you got love, you really have love for that individual, for someone like that, is you wind up compromising yourself too much. You compromise yourself and you give so much of yourself just to try to make it work and try to make that individual happy, that you lose yourself, forget who you are, and you get to the point where you don't know who you are anymore. You lose sight of yourself completely. You don't know your goals, what you want to do in life, what you like, what you dislike. You lose yourself completely just overly compromising yourself for someone who you can't please, right? They're not balanced at all with themselves, and they're not trying to compromise with you. They're leaving you to compromise because they're trying to play both roles. And this works vice versa. You got women out there going through this right now. You got men out there going through this. There's no balance. You're fighting a losing battle. And if you're a woman out there, you in a situation like that, you a man out there, you in a situation like that, you gotta build up your courage, your strength, and move on. And I know it's hard. It feels impossible because for that woman out there, you love that man. For the men out there, you love that woman. But you got to build that strength. You got to build that courage, and you got to move on for yourself. You owe it to yourself. You got to put yourself first. Because I tell you what, it's not going to get no better. It's not going to get no better unless that woman or that man you're dealing with can see the error of their ways and open their eyes and wake up and do better and want to do better and want to start to do the work and go within and do the work to balance out their energies and balance out their life. Unless they're doing that, it's never going to work. They're not going to change. See, some people got to want to change and go within and do the work. They have to see the truth for themselves, and sitting and trying to talk and reach someone and tell a person like that, tell them the truth. You can have that conversation as long as you want to have that conversation, as many times as you like. You can talk to them calmly, you can yell it, you can scream it, you can cry while you say it. As long as they don't see it for themselves, they're not going to hear you. It's falling on deaf ears. You're wasting your energy. A person is not going to change unless they want to change. They're not going to do better unless they want to do better. They have to see it for themselves. You can't just tell them. right? It's like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink. You know what I'm talking about? Build up your courage and your strength, and ask yourself a question. You want to know if you really lost or not? You want to know if this message really for you? Just ask yourself a simple question. Who am I? Ask yourself that question. Who am I? Hold on. Ask yourself that question. Who am I? You know, what are my goals and aspirations? If you struggle answering any of those questions, you got a problem. If your life has turned into trying to make someone else happy, and where you just living your life trying to make someone else happy and prove yourself to someone else to earn that individual's love, you in trouble. You in a world of trouble, and that's a situation you need to get out of. You don't need to be in. I'm telling you right now. Okay? And start out slow. You know what I mean? Start doing things for yourself. Start living life for yourself. And get yourself out that situation. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need to do. And free yourself. And let that person go on living their life being who they comfortable being. Okay? You don't need that problem in your life anymore. Right? Love yourself. Learn to love yourself unconditionally and love you. Then you will wind up meeting someone who's for you. And you will be happy. But it's all about balance. And that's all I got. This is King B. And love yourself unconditionally. That's why I say that in my videos this way. Every video. Love yourself unconditionally. Keep your loved ones close. Right? Stay informed. Prepare yourselves, but don't worry about what's going on. Just focus on what you can do, okay? Protect the women, the babies, the children. Protect yourselves, right? To the next video, everybody.